Kelsey.
Okay, we're going to get started. Welcome to this season's first Banishment. How this will work is I'm going to ask some questions to each of you guys. We're going to talk through some things. Then when it comes time to vote, you're going to Slack me directly with who you would like to vote for. I will then count the votes. I'll ask if anyone has any idols they would like to play. Then I'll read those votes and someone will be banished tonight. Also, as a new policy, letting fans know, we are going to be turning off the chat. We just find it too unnerving during a banishment, and we want to remove that. So let's get into this. So a lot has happened, right? We should have already had a first banishment. We haven't, so we have a lot to break down. We've had you guys getting to know each other for 24 hours, then picking teams, your first challenge, not having to go to a banishment, a second challenge. So first I want to ask, so Molly, how were the 24 hours when you were like, okay, it's everyone. I have to get to know 17 other people?
I think it was a lot of conversations all at once. You know, your Slack is like all lit up. You're trying to get to know everyone, but there's no way you can get to know everyone. There's no way that you can talk to every single person. And so I think like you have to get to know a couple people and then just maybe hope that you end up on a team with them. Mm-hmm. And then of course there's the dynamic with the captains, talking to the captains and like, you know, partially pitching yourself of like, this would be nice if you chose me. So yeah, there was a lot going on, and I would say that the day was crazy, and maybe my teammates would agree that Sunday was the craziest of all of our days so far.
Elisa, did you find yourself pitching yourself to the team captains? Did you take that approach as well, or were you just trying to get to know people?
Honestly, I just wanted to like get to know everybody. Like everything kind of just went like blank. Like I was on a blank slate. Like I didn't really reach out to all the captains or just only one captain. I reached out to everybody, at least tried to, and just wanted to get like a feel of how everyone was feeling. And I just wanted to see like where everyone's head was at. I was kind of just trying to get to know everybody rather than being like, I want to be on your team. I want to be on your team. I just wanted to like get to know everybody.
Sure. So Elisa kind of brings us to an interesting thing, which is it can be very helpful in this game to have quick allies, but also when you're 18 people, how do you do that? Because there's a great chance you're not going to end up on the same team with those allies. So Jody, how did you navigate that of like, I want to be able to have close people I can trust, but also there's a strong chance that we're not going to wind up together?
Yeah, that made it really interesting. And I kept that in mind while talking to people, because you want to get to know everyone, but at the same time, it's like day one, you can't really get to know every single person because there's 17 other people. And then adding that the daisy chain factor into it, like you don't know, like let's say I want to pick so-and-so and I think so-and-so is going to pick who'sy whatsy, but like they might not. So it's kind of like so many balls in the air that I wasn't really trying to focus on that and just trying to get a feel for everyone more so.
Sure. So Scott, you were a team captain. So how was it for you kind of navigating after, you know, you kind of have a target on your back because you have one, although I'll get into why you might not completely have a target on your back, but like how did you feel after that? And kind of, you're going to have to be one of the people who makes a first decision.
I mean, same as everybody else. It was like just a huge task to try to talk to 17 people and get to know them. Also considering we had been like together for like 30 minutes between like finding out we're all together, finding out there's 3 teams, then there's this challenge, then you're going to talk to each other, like, and getting to know Slack, getting to know the system. So I think like Jody said, it was just try to get a feel for people. I mean, I had maybe the advantage of I had more control over who to pick first. But at that point, you're just like, I don't know. Everyone seems nice. It's the first day.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, an interesting part of your guys' team is there are 3 of you that were in that same social challenge. 3 of you chose social. And the reason why I said you don't completely have a target on your back is I think any audience member who was watching that social challenge at first thought, oh, this is going to go the way of Joanna. Joanna's really making connections. She's asking people about stuff. And then the tide started to change and it became you. So Joanna, what was your thought process during that social challenge?
I had anxiety. And sometimes my anxiety shows up as talking too much. And it wasn't necessarily like I was, it was just, from being honest, it was just anxiety. I knew I didn't want it, but I didn't want to just sit there and kind of like look at each other like, oh, you guys are all so beautiful and I'm so glad we're here. But I knew off the bat that I really like Scott. And I really liked Colleen, and so it made it a lot easier when I was trying to get to know people because I already knew them.
Mm-hmm. So Colleen, off of that, you were also in the social challenge with them. I would say you were probably the quietest of the people in that challenge. How did you feel joining this team, also knowing that there are 2 people on this team that consider social to be a good part of their game because they chose that challenge to compete in?
I think it was good for me to be with other people who are strong in that area that maybe is not my strength. It was hard. This is also new to me. That I just really felt a close connection to them pretty quickly. So I thought they were good people to, like if you've got 17 people to talk to and 2 of them it's going well, like that's why try to recreate that with other strangers.
Sure. So another component that we had was we brought the Zoom list back, but there's 18 people. So the chances of matching with people, way more challenging. It's hard to know what sort of strategy do you take? Do you go with people you feel you connected with, people you like? Do you choose just the team captains? Kind of like, what's your strategy? Jody, did you find people were talking about it, or like after the list had happened, like who'd you put on? Or I talked to this person. Are you talking with this person? Especially with those misconnections, it's hard for people not to feel like, well, why didn't they want to talk to me?
You're right. I think that was hard too because we were still in the boat where we could pick from 17 people and then you could also talk about it with 17 people. So is that going to come up in your conversation? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. My luck wasn't so hot, but I have a feeling other people's probably were. So I didn't choose the captains. So maybe I should have, but I didn't necessarily want it to be the first person picked either. Like I wasn't really looking that way.
Okay. So then we did the daisy chain, which is both illuminating, stressful, all of the things. Elisa, you were picked last. Did you?
Yeah.
What did you feel? Like, why do you think that happened?
I mean, I don't know exactly why. I mean, when we had our Zoom chat, I was also picked last when we were getting to know each other. And I didn't really get a lot of like words in or be able to like tell people really like who I was. So I kind of like, I had a feeling like, oh, well, I'm not really getting to know too many people. Like, I feel like I might be picked last. But I mean, it's fine. I'm happy with the team that I got put on. I'm happy with the people that I'm with. So I'm like, I'm not upset that I was chosen last, but it is what it is.
You bring up a good point, which is you were last in that Zoom where we let everyone get to know each other. And I think the challenge with that is people really don't get to see your personality. And then it's taken to Slack, right? And trying to get anyone to understand your personality, understand if you're telling the truth, if they can believe you via Slack is very difficult. Elisa, did you find yourself then having to deal with that of like, are they trusting what I'm saying? Am I trusting what they're saying? And kind of the paranoia that goes into a text communication?
I mean, yeah, I like even in just like real life, when I'm texting somebody, it's always hard to see how exactly they're feeling. So, I mean, this is the same thing here, but I mean, going into it, I knew this was going to happen. Like I knew that we weren't going to be able to be face to face all the time. So I kind of took that into consideration when talking to everybody. So I'm just hoping that how I talk to people shows them how my personality is and how I'm perceived.
Okay, so now I want to talk about that first challenge because The first challenge was wild for your team. Colleen and Joanna, you guys were last to get all those items. Joanna, did you then feel like, oh, I almost cursed, but I didn't. I caught myself for you. Oh crap! Does this make me look bad? Because we're still so in the early stages of wanting to win challenges that it's hard for, I think, when people are figuring out their first vote. Do we go the route that's going to retain a strong team, or do we go with what's better for like my game? And we're so early on. So were you worried with how your performance was going to be perceived after the fact?
I think that for me personally, it was an experience. And so I thought like, okay, so maybe next time, and Colleen and I got together. I'm like, well, maybe next time if we ever have to do something like that again, maybe we just like yell it out, because I think the communication that we were having like in Slack, trying to type and trying to get things, just slowed us down, you know? And just like Elisa was saying, it's hard to really comprehend or know what someone's thinking when you're just like texting them, you know, things get lost in translation. So for me, that's what it was. It was like a learning experience.
And Colleen, how did you feel after that challenge? What did you go back and say to your team?
I'm sorry. Oh man, I felt terrible. It was, you know, and frustrated. And then the next thing was to get with Joanna and figure out like, well, we can't do that again. So then I think we're even like ready to like over communicate for the next challenge, because we were like not gonna make the same mistake twice. We dialed in on all the errors we made, like pretty hard.
So Elisa and Scott, you guys also were a part of the great quiz debacle of 2020, Google Doc 2020, whatever we want to call it. But you guys really rebounded from it and were still able to pull ahead from the Royals, who had the most time on it, and still you surpassed them. So I'm going to ask you first, Scott, how was that experience? And then did you feel like you kind of redeemed it for the team, or?
I mean, we were just trying to create great TV, you know. Everybody loves like the come from behind, the drama. Also, we just had no idea how to work Google Docs. So, I mean, it was at that point, it was just like hustle and sweat, because it's the first time we've done anything like that. So I'm proud of everybody on the team. Yeah, Elisa did awesome.
So, oh, were you saying something?
I was just saying you all did awesome.
So Molly, I want to ask, you know, technically this is our first banishment, so Scott is safe tonight. So I am kind of wondering then, how do you approach that? You know, there's 5 of you then on the chopping block. Do you try to work with Scott because you know he's not going anywhere tonight, or just try to figure it out and hope for the best? How are you factoring in Scott's safety tonight?
The first thing you have to factor in with Scott's safety is that he is indeed safe. And then, you know, he, just continuing to have a dialogue with him. But we're still in the early days, so we're continuing to get to know each other while inserting like a little bit of game talk of who do you think should be like what would keep the team strongest, what would keep the team most connected, what would keep the team most engaged. And so it's like, in terms of how I'm working with Scott, it's like, you know, when we lose one of the buns tonight, how are we going to make sure that after this, like, we are charging forward, because we're not coming to another banishment.
So are you worried that you are one of those people being considered going home tonight, because the round was lost when you were the one giving out the words last night?
Oh, damn. Tough. Here's the thing. And I will proudly say that I was good at that game. I will very proudly say that. So no, I don't think that if I go home tonight, it's because of my weak challenge performance last night. I think truly, like, that game is made for me. Every other challenge that afterward, it's not going to be as good, because I love that game. But if it is me, it's for other reasons, because I think the challenge last night, we had a blast.
So Jody, something interesting that Molly was saying was she kept saying we of like when we're going to the next challenge, which really implies to me that she believes she will be here tomorrow and that there's a different plan going on. Does that make you nervous to hear that your name might be out there?
Yeah, honestly, I think if anyone who isn't Scott isn't a teeny bit nervous, then they are lying out their buns. And so, yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, I get where Molly's coming from, because the whole like challenge thing, that was a challenge where like we were down to it was 1 point. So that means it could have been any single round, really.
Mhm.
Like I said
You were round
toothpaste while
12,
I
yeah.
was saying toothbrush, you know what I mean? And I lost sleep over that. And when I went to brush my teeth last night, I took a
Right.
long stare at my toothbrush and I almost threw it out the window. But it's just stuff like that. Like, it's the little things. It's like, can we get caught up on that? Is that an important decision moving forward? Who knows?
Also, Jody, you didn't lose any sleep last night. We all know you're the only one sleeping amongst all of us.
That's true. Melatonin.
But part of that challenge last night, and then at the end, was Royals got to take a person from each team. And Jody was one of the people chosen to go with. Colleen, did that make you nervous at all? Like, why is Jody being chosen? Are there pre-existing relationships? What's happening here?
Yeah, a little. I mean, like it's interesting, like that he has something that none of us have, right? Like some insight. But also, it sounds like it wasn't real eventful. So.
Mm-hmm. And when you say that, so Joanna, I'll ask you. So Jody came back and said it was uneventful, and that's why. Is that the feeling then amongst the group?
Jody did come back and said it was pretty much uneventful.
Got it. Okay. Jody, yes?
I mean, uneventful in the sense that we weren't talking like any sort of strategy or game. Right. It was like in the sense that, no, because the Royals, they're cool peeps, but at the end of the day, I think, you know, like if we had won the challenge, we probably would have been tight-lipped, and I felt kind of that sort of vibe too. Like it wasn't going to be like so-and-so would have gone home had Vic not
Sure.
left, so.
So Scott, something that has also been coming up, which everyone who is a fan of competition shows knows and feels, is that you don't want to be the first to go home, but you also don't want to be the first to throw out a name. So how do you navigate this? Because ultimately someone does have to go home tonight. That is going to happen, but you also don't want to be that first person initiating like, this is what's going to happen, guys. I'm playing the game. I've been thinking about it, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's also multiplied by the kind of Slack text dynamics that we've talked about, because there's no natural way to have a conversation. And so, I mean, especially like that first day when we were all together, every conversation was like, what do you think? That's a great question. What do you think? And at some point you just have to decide that you're going to pick people to trust. I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, you just have to make a decision, which is true in life of like, am I going to give a little bit away? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So something that I do find interesting about this team and the dynamics is, I think Ashley and Jody, you're in the middle, but like you guys are our youngest contestants in a game. Elisa, did you find any of that kind of playing a role in trying to connect with the contestants or trying to bond as a team?
I think so. I mean, I don't look at somebody and think about their age when I'm talking to them. I kind of just talk to them for them. And I don't really put in that when I want to get to know somebody. Like, if anything, like we're all exactly the same age in my mind. Like we're all just talking. It's just how it is.
So something that you guys all know is we did drop a clue yesterday. So Molly, I'm going to ask you, does that start to also play a factor of like, okay, plan A, but also might need to have a plan B in case someone found something and is trying to do something with it?
It's still a huge mystery I mean, at least it's a mystery to me, of who got it. And we still don't even know what the answer was. But yeah, I kind of think it's on my mind for sure. And we also don't know if that advantage one was an extra vote or was an idol, and if it's something that someone is going to want to use tonight or something that someone is going to want to hold on to. I think it's in the back of our minds, but I don't know if it's going to come into play tonight. I'm not confident it will, but that is probably.
Bye.
Hello.
Right.
Oh, that
Can we
person.
vote him out?
I'm not confident it will come into play, but those could be my famous last words. So who knows?
Okay, so with that, guys, it is now time to vote. When I say your name, you will Slack me directly with who you would like to vote for. We are going to begin with Molly. Molly, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Scott, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Jody, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Joanna, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Elisa, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. And Colleen, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Okay, now before I read the votes, does anyone have an idol that they would like to play? Okay, once I read the votes, the decision is final. That contestant will be banished and their quarantine will be up. I'm gonna ask that you guys all hold your phones up, turn your flashlights on. Those are our, you know. Oh, hi, sir, whoever this is. I'm gonna turn your video off. Oh, you got it. Reminder, Scott is safe. He cannot go home tonight. Okay. First vote is Molly. That's 1 vote, Molly. Second vote is Molly. That's 2 votes, Molly. Third vote is Elisa. That's 2 votes, Molly, 1 vote, Elisa. Fourth vote is Molly. That's 3 votes, Molly, 1 vote, Elisa. First person off the island. I'm sorry, Molly, your quarantine is up and you have been banished from the island. Is there anything you'd like to say before you leave?
Sure. I think that if you can put your lights down, everyone, I think. I think this really stinks. I came to play and a lot of these people were probably turned off by the fact that I came to play. Which really, really sucks and is hard to work with. But I will use this time to say that if there is a battle back, I'll be coming for the head weasel in charge, Scott. Also want to take this time to say, make sure that you all educate yourself and donate and learn about Rett syndrome, R-E-T-T syndrome. Colleen is an incredible, incredible individual, and please make sure that she is not fighting this fight alone. So play this game, folks, and don't be scared of those competitors.
Molly, I hope that you see the chats lighting up for you right now. People really sending you a lot of love. We so appreciated you being. I'm crying on the first banishment. This is
because I got played so hard, and all I wanted to do was talk game, and these people were intimidated by the fact that I'm a challenge boss. So,
well, Molly, we appreciated having you here. We're going to miss you very dearly. Thank you so much for joining us. To all the fans out there, thank you for coming. Tune into QI Reply tonight. Jaren will be on. That's Jerry and Aaron from season 3. We will be back tomorrow night at 5 p.m. with the challenge. We'll see you guys all there. Good night.